In July, at 6 months pregnant, Zeb and I traveled to Indiana to do the Dust Bowl gravel race. I did the 45-mile course, and he raced the 100-mile course. How did I feel? Did Zeb make it on the podium? And what is corn sweat? First, we'll start early in the morning on race day, driving from our hotel to the start line in Eminence, Indiana. The race started at 8 a.m. sharp, so we wanted to be there early enough to get our packets and be ready at the start line. This is the 5th year of this race, which takes place in the small town of Eminence, Indiana. In 2023, the population here was only 83 people. You'll find plenty of classic Indiana soybean and cornfield views here. However, it's also less than an hour west of the capital, Indianapolis. The race starts and finishes at the school here, which serves 395 students from the surrounding Adams and Ashland townships. Hello?
Hello?
How do you feel?
Good.
Look at that. It's pretty.
Real pretty. That's America.
It was cool to learn that the race gives back to the community school system. Last year they donated over $2,500 to the athletic department, gave 10 student scholarships to Indiana's NICA Youth Cycling League, and gave 15 bicycles to students. We made our way over to the check-in tent, and packet pickup was easy. You can also do this the night before the race if you arrive earlier than we did. The 100-mile race is the first to go, followed by the 100-kilometer race at 8:15, and the 45-mile race at 8:30. There he is.
So you don't have to run the bid, you can just try these off at the end.
Okay.
There were 1,200 riders across all the categories, and it was a sold-out event.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning.
Here's the start of Zeb's race. It was a neutral rollout, so no one is going hard off the start line. Plus, they have 100 miles to fight for position. But you can bet that things sped up for them not long after this.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Good luck today. Have fun out there.
So Zeb just started the race. I came back to the car to put some things back, and then I'm going to start the 44-mile race. I don't have any expectation for how today's going to go. I'm 6 months pregnant at this point, but I'm feeling good, and I have a pack full of ice so that I can stay cool. I guess staying cool is my number one concern for today. I'm just going to take it easy and ride through some pretty cornfields today. 30 minutes later, I'm rolling up to the start line myself. Like I said, staying hydrated and not overheating were my two main goals.
Get dusty, get grimy, get dirty, get a little muddy, but have some fun out there.
Unlike Zeb's race start, in my distance we all seemed to start the course at a fun party pace and keep that going the whole time. We left the grassy field, rode through the parking lot, and turned right onto Road 42. For some reason my GoPro froze as we turned right onto Walters Road, but around mile 3 the road turned to gravel. There were some funny road signs on the way out of town, and photographer John Lobbin got a couple of nice shots of me on this road. Soon we began pedaling the miles of lightly traveled gravel roads, winding past barns and along cornfields. Sometimes the road surface changed to pavement or even dirt, but for the most part it was mellow gravel. The small gravel rocks and rolling hills made it a pretty relaxed course. This kind of rolling, wide-open course makes it easy to draft off other riders and conserve energy. At least, assuming you're not racing. I think Zeb's experience was another story. These big metal grain bins store dry goods like corn, wheat, and soybeans. They're a little different from silos, which are tall, narrow, and store mainly grasses or animal feed. Farmers use grain bins to keep the harvest at the right moisture level, protect
protecting it from pests or spoiling, and maintaining the quality over time. More than 80% of Indiana's land is farms and forest. Indiana's agriculture industry exceeds $35 billion annually, and they rank in the top 5 for corn production and top 4 for soybeans nationally. Usually I train by measuring power output, but for this I was also wearing a heart rate monitor, so I could make sure I wasn't pushing too hard. Blood volume doubles during pregnancy, so heart rate increases just to keep up with the extra demand. I've been able to continue biking, just slower, for shorter distances and more carefully. I know not every woman feels up to it since pregnancy symptoms can be rough depending on the individual, so I've been feeling really lucky to be able to continue. We crossed some old bridges, and the 100-mile route gets to cross a pretty covered bridge too. Cars were rare on this route, which was a nice surprise. I was also pleasantly surprised by how many people were out in their yards watching the race and waving to riders. It felt really friendly. There was a banner on the barn to the right here that said that today was this family's annual hog roast. You can probably tell that by now the sun was getting a bit more intense. We were about 20 miles in at this point, and it was only 10:30 or so, but there was hardly any shade on the course, one downside of riding through cornfield country. Plus, it was July 26th, so it was the middle of summer. Having a hydration pack for this event was crucial, even though there were plenty of aid stations to refuel. I filled my water pack with ice, and it kept me cool as it melted throughout the day. This route had a well-stocked aid station at mile 22. Actually, every route stopped here, but for the 44-mile course, it happened to be halfway through the ride. The best part was the ice socks they were handing out.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, happy to. You're doing amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I put one on my neck so cold water dripped down my jersey, and it was so refreshing. They also had water, drink mix, pickle juice, gels, watermelon, and plenty of snacks. With my ice sock and refilled bottles, I felt ready to take on the second half of the course. Ahead of the event, we were warned about corn sweat, something I hadn't heard of growing up in the mountains. Basically, corn, like all plants, releases moisture as it grows, moving water from the soil through the plant and into the atmosphere. The fancy term for it is evapotranspiration. But corn sweat is a funny way to describe the excessive humidity in the central US in the summer. There were brief sections of shade, and occasionally groups of people cheering on riders from the side of the road. A couple miles after the aid station was a fun trail section through Birch Forest. I don't think I've ever had so many people wave at me from their yards during a bike event before. This part of Indiana has some really friendly people. At mile 32, there was a second stop for water and ice. No snacks at this one, but it was nice to have another opportunity to refill bottles if needed. You just had to get to the top of this steep hill first. It had a 21% grade at some points, but thankfully it was the steepest climb of the day.
You made it. Good job, Jason.
From here, I had less than 12 miles to go. The scenery was a lot of the same views, but it was fun to ride somewhere that looked so different from the mountains of western North Carolina. I know this isn't the most adventurous ride or my toughest race or anything, but I was feeling really proud of myself at this point. I wasn't sure how my body would feel if I tried to do a ride like this while pregnant, so it was validating to realize that I could complete it. I was originally planning to race the 100-mile course, but when I realized I would be pregnant for this event, I adjusted my expectations and pacing. I was attempting a shorter distance, but I had the confidence to try and complete it after seeing a lot of other female cyclists that I admire continue to ride when they became moms. I know it's different for everyone, but maybe this will encourage some other first-time moms, that just because they want to have kids doesn't necessarily mean they have to stay home for 9 months or give up on all their hobbies. The final 2 miles of the course are the same as they were at the start. We turned back onto the paved Walters Road and then pedaled back into the town of Eminence. Instead of going down the main Road 42 though, we turned left at the volunteer fire department and rode into the school grounds from the back way. This would have been an interesting finish if I was racing, since the dirt and grass sections were tighter and harder to pass on. There also seemed to be only one bridge from this parking area, so there were some spectators walking on the course here. Not really a problem for me, but could be dangerous in a sprint finish. The finish section had us winding through the sports fields and over towards the start-finish chute.
I did it! I just got back to the car. Zeb should be finishing like any minute now, honestly, even though he did over twice as much as me, so I can't wait to see how he did. They give you these cold wet towels at the end that are like Dust Bowl specific, which is a pretty cool idea because it feels really good on your neck. And then you also get a finisher water bottle. And I got a meal ticket and I got a free frozen ice. So I'm gonna go get my frozen ice and my food. It was pretty fun. I'm actually really surprised that I felt good enough to complete the whole thing. I thought maybe I would turn around and do like maybe half, but I felt pretty good halfway, so I just kept going. And yeah, it feels really good to be done.
Something nice this race offered was the ability to shower afterwards. You could pay $5 to use the school's locker rooms, which was donated to the school. After I showered, I got my meal, included in the race fee. I also got my shaved ice and waited to see Zeb come across the line.
Zeb got 11th place.
Zeb got 11th place overall in the 100-mile race, but 3rd for his age group. He said the hardest part was dealing with the heat while trying to keep up with some fast competition.
30 to 39 age group, 100 mile. Congrats, guys.
Zeb got to stand on the podium and earned a cool trophy and a golden water bottle.
You did it.
Since I'm editing this months later, I'll probably be able to introduce you to our baby in the next video. I'm excited to get back to some more traveling, racing, and exploring by bike, just with a new little buddy along for the ride. See you in the next one!